Today, we are diving into a feeling that might be, well, incredibly familiar to you, even if you've never quite had the words for it. Let's get right into it. Why smart minds secretly crave solitude. So, picture this. You're at a party, right? You're in a packed room, music's playing, people are talking. You're doing the whole social thing. You're smiling, you're nodding along, but in the back of your mind, there's just one thought. How soon can I get out of here? Sound familiar? Because while you're navigating all that small talk, the weather, the latest gossip, the same old stuff, something else is going on under the surface. Internally, your mental battery is just dropping to absolute zero. You get home and you feel completely wiped out, wondering, why does something that seems so easy for everyone else feel like an absolute marathon for me? Well, here's the big idea. What if that intense urge to escape and be alone isn't some kind of social flaw? What if it's not a weakness at all? What if it's actually a documented psychological marker of a really high IQ? Okay, so let's dig into that first piece of the puzzle, the social battery drain. We're going to explore why small talk can feel like running a marathon for a mind that's wired differently. Let's break down the hidden work that's going on in your head. You see, you're not just listening. Your brain is constantly overanalyzing every single word, dissecting every little shift in tone, decoding every microexpression. It is cognitively expensive work, and that is exactly why you feel so drained after swimming in a sea of superficial topics. So, what is actually going on inside your brain during these moments? Let's take a look at the neuroscience of a quiet mind to really understand the connection here. Well, for someone with a highly analytical mind, your brain almost never really switches off. You're in a constant state of what's called metacognition, which is literally thinking about your own thinking. It's why a totally normal conversation might replay in your mind for hours as you're searching for hidden meanings and dissecting every little detail. And cognitive neuroscience has actually found that people with higher intelligence often have way more activity in their brain's default mode network. Think of this as your brain's daydreaming or reflection mode. For you, this system is pretty much always on, which means there's a whole world of activity happening internally, even when everything on the outside seems quiet. So let's put it this way. While a typical brain might just be listening to the words and following the topic, your analytical brain is operating on like 5 different levels at once. You're tracking the subtle power dynamics in the room, you're decoding emotional undercurrents, and you're analyzing what is not being said. Your prefrontal cortex is just in complete overdrive. Now, to handle all of this cognitive overload, you've probably, without even realizing it, developed a very specific and very tiring survival mechanism. Some psychologists call it intellectual camouflage. It's this social mask that you probably learned to wear a long, long time ago. It means you're constantly managing how you talk, translating and simplifying your really complex thoughts just so you can connect with everyone else. And this whole process is absolutely exhausting. It means you have to consciously slow your own brain down. Maybe you let other people speak first just to get a read on the room. And you might even find yourself hiding your intense curiosity just so you don't make other people uncomfortable. You end up performing a role instead of just being there. And the result of wearing this mask all the time, well, it's pretty predictable. Significantly higher rates of anxiety and burnout. You are literally burning out your internal circuitry trying to process a world that, for your mind, often moves way too slowly and way too shallowly. But here's the thing. Once you understand this psychological reality, everything can change. So let's totally reframe this whole experience. Your need for solitude, it's not a weakness, it's your secret weapon. First, we have to make a really critical distinction here. Loneliness, that's a negative state. It feels empty, it's unwanted. But solitude, that is positive. It's fulfilling, and most importantly, it's chosen. These two things are not the same at all. And hey, this isn't just a feeling. There's real science to back this up. A fascinating study from the London School of Economics actually found that highly intelligent people often report feeling less satisfied with their life the more they socialize. Think about that. The implication is huge. It suggests that for a mind like yours, a happy life might actually involve less social time, not more. So if you feel that way, you are not alone, and it's backed by data. So here is the most important takeaway. For you, solitude is not loneliness. It is mandatory psychological maintenance. It's the only time and place where your intense internal processing can actually finish its job without being constantly interrupted. All right, so how do you harness this? How do you turn this thing that might have felt like a problem into your greatest strength? let's talk about how you can build in the silence and gain what is basically an unfair advantage. Just think about it for a second. People who can't stand to sit alone with their own thoughts, they are missing out on something huge. They are missing the exact environment that is required for deep creation, for designing complex systems, and for doing the kind of work that truly matters. When you stop fighting your own nature, you can redirect all of that immense analytical power. Your quiet time is where the real connections are made. It's where you can build that digital product, launch that business, or create entirely new frameworks. You are literally built to solve complex problems and to see the invisible structures of the world, but that can only happen when you turn down the noise. So this all boils down to one fundamental question you really have to ask yourself. Your focused attention is your single most valuable asset, period. So how are you protecting it? It all starts by treating your solitude like a critical appointment with yourself, one that you would never, ever cancel. The very first step is to just stop apologizing for needing to be alone. Stop feeling guilty about it. Instead of saying, "Oh, sorry, I can't, I just need some me time," try reframing it. Try saying, "I'm actually blocking out some time to do some deep thinking on a project." You need to frame this need as the absolute strength that it is. So from this day forward, I want you to reframe this whole thing. Your solitude isn't antisocial. It's profoundly productive. It is necessary. So schedule it, defend it, and then use that uninterrupted time to your advantage. Protect your solitude and keep building in the silence.